Hey, I couldn't think of an intro, so I'm gonna go back and finally finish Splinter Pandora tomorrow. Ready? Shh, shh, shh. That music. Listen. That music. Splinter Cell is easily one of my favorite franchises to come out of the PS2 Xbox era, ever since trying out the first one on my uncle's Xbox. The new gameplay concepts, the emphasis on using the polished visuals to your advantage, and just straight up feeling like Jack Bauer all attracted me to the game. Like how Jack Bauer attracts me. Common complaint for the series, it's kind of really hard. I mean, it's de rigueur for stealth games to be difficult to keep the intensity high, but Pandora may have gotten a little out of hand at times, bordering on cheap or mishandled, at least how I remember. It doesn't help that I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. I don't want to kill, don't want to be caught, really don't even want to knock people out. And with Pandora apparently being pretty linear, according to the critics at least, I guess I just got too frustrated with screwing up all the time. But quitting the game was made easier by the multiplayer, which is still one of the finest I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. But time to tackle the campaign all the way now, so as I replay the game, I'm going to focus on simply getting through the game instead of being Mr. Perfect!
Bishop, welcome back to the front.
Oh man, Micah Ironside, David Palmer, Dennis Haysbert, pulling out all the stops, son. Legit feels good to play some old school Splinter Cell again. The iconic gadgets, the suit, and Sam Fisher, bitches. And yeah, the game starts off pretty linear, but well, whatever. It's probably because it's the first level. It's just fun to be doing split jumps, climbing buildings, and whistling guards over to you. I mean, it's kind of weird to see them stare straight at you while you're in shadow, but this isn't Metal Gear Solid. It's Splinter Cell, baby. Come on. But goddammit, here we go. Almost a perfect run, but this douche is in the way. And I don't know how to proceed without shooting him. But I told myself I'm gonna be less of a perfectionist, just to get through it. Don't know why I'm so concerned about taking out enemies, to take them out in droves in Call of Duty. Why worry about this? Oh, there's the cheap Splinter Cell I remember. Oh, you wily old bastard. Let me just try this again. Kind of basic. Shouldn't take too long. Damn it. Okay, in reality, the game has done well with tighter, more straightforward scenarios up to this point, like disarming a bomb while getting searched for, or taking out a guard in a freezer using thermals. But in order to keep a good pace throughout the narrative, I think mixing in more exploration would befit the levels. Take for example the next one on a moving train, which is definitely one of the more iconic scenarios in the series. I remember reading a feature in EGM about the alternate routes players could take during this level. As a kid, the prospect of going underneath the train was tantalizing for sure. Problem with the end product is that it's a required path that the player must take. Any gratification that could have emerged from discovering this panel on the floor is lessened by this fact. Sure, it's definitely cool, but it's missing that satisfying nod to your intuition. Luckily, down the line, you can choose to work your way through the packed train car, or take the obvious alternative and shimmy your way on the side of the train. In turn, that raises the tension for tight areas like this, where I don't actually know how to get past it. See, it's gonna move, or what's going on here?
Apparently, he had a disagreement with a...
That makes more sense than it should. But you know what? Thus far, the game has been alright with avoiding its penchant for trial and error gameplay. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Damn it. Yes, this level, Jerusalem, is continuing to push a trend of stupidly, ridiculously frustrating labyrinths of small game spaces, inconsistent guards, and restrictive alarm measures. Level design is of the utmost importance, as the rooms should play out like stealth-based puzzles, not minefields as the city is structured. And yeah, maybe you found this stage easier than I did, and to that I had this to say. Think of something clever, like kill yourself, or too bad. Way to swing for the fences there, Matt. This poor resource management only continues with the game's first jungle level, something that was going to go a long way to further innovate the series, at least to my understanding when I saw previews for the game. But it's just alright, and the whole gimmick of the sun doesn't really work in conjunction with the game's mechanics. It's not a versatile sandbox in the way that Metal Gear Solid 3 was, which came out a few months later. The gameplay mechanics, scenarios, and setting all work as one to create this stealth experience in the jungle. You had to mask yourself in the milieu of the environment, use a new CQC system when resources were low, live off the land by feasting on various wildlife and healing your own injuries, and you got tons of options on how to get through areas even though the game was for all intents and purposes fairly linear. A lot of Pandora Tomorrow feels like a square peg in a round hole, or however that saying goes. I don't really know. Also, I hate comparing games like that. I'm sorry, it's kind of stupid, but whatever. And now we're actually at a part to remember, so that's cool. And then just get through this camp, and that's it for the sun. It's down for this section. That's it. Oh, and this is the place I stopped playing the game at, which is coincidental. Also, he is not breathing. Look at that. No air. And following that is just another jungle level at night, so I'm guessing it's going to be more of the same. That's cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That is also very cool. Damn it, that is cool. Cool 10 scenarios, use of Fisher's skilled moveset like his split jump, some alternate pathways, nothing I'd say that condones being cheap, and a pretty awesome atmosphere. I think we've got a winner. Yep, got a winner. Yep, Komodo. Yeah, who would have known? Yeah, very good. Like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I mean, little things still plague the game, one being guards that sometimes are alarmed by gunshots while others aren't. That inconsistency makes decision-making a crapshoot, playing into that trial and error theme. And of course, it ends with a terrible shootout, but this is the first level in the game that actually attained the feeling that I think is essential to a Splinter Cell experience. See, there's a certain emotion I felt when playing these games as a kid that I'm not feeling with Pandora. Really, I haven't felt it since Chaos Theory. It was all but gone once Conviction dropped. Come to think of it, Conviction gets a lot of slack, even though for all intents and purposes, it's far from a bad game, and you can stealth through it if you like. I think the reason it's so polarizing, why I personally didn't like it much, is because it lacks that experience I'm remembering from the older ones. Essentially heightened tension and suspense that came from a place of uncertainty rather than feeling like a badass all the time. Think of it this way. Anonymity is a value integral to the player experience. It's a value given at the beginning of each level, and the story or the ghost mechanics emphasize the importance of this to the player. Story-wise, this is very important as Fisher has a daughter in his real life, and if he dies in these foreign countries, America's playing dumb and not coming to help. Naturally, Fisher's gotta feel terrified, and the tough stealth elements help relay this experience to the player. Too bad the narrative didn't really capture this until Double Agent, with the decision elements and the inciting incident that plays off the idea of the government taking advantage of Fisher once again. Now, in regards to the gameplay, I mean, maybe it sounds obvious, but these puzzle-like rooms are designed to force the player to be making calculated risks to elude detection. The restrictions are meant to keep you sitting in a corner studying the environment and then making your move. It's David versus Goliath, and you get the short end of that equation. This gives life to the game. You look at something like Conviction, it has no spice or charm. Patrols are just set up to be picked off, and you're not risking much when you have all that power. You're the boogeyman, Goliath, the Batman, what have you, you know? The game can be fun, but I'm not cowering in a corner. I'm setting up to kill 5 people in 5 seconds. Now, I mention all of this because, admittedly, producing this emotion requires a balance that's not often seen in Pandora Tomorrow. But sometimes it totally nails that feeling of intense trepidation brought about from a mix of puzzle solving and tempered exploration within its sandbox. But crazy enough, that feeling is perfectly, and I don't take that word lightly, perfectly encapsulated in the multiplayer portion of the title, Spies vs. Mercs. The Mercs are armed to the teeth, but they can't see in the dark or traverse the same areas as spies can. The spies have lots of information and can infiltrate different areas of the environment, however they can only kill by getting close to the Merc and snapping the neck. So they have to stick to the shadows like in the campaign, making calculated risks to put themselves in a position to win. They have cool gadgets to assist them, but everything from hacking to taking an objective takes time and puts them in a vulnerable position. The tension these matches brought is of the highest caliber. Seriously, if Ubisoft turned their servers back on today, I'd be on that bitch like a monkey riding a dog during halftime at a Denver Broncos game. Can I get an amen? That tension shorts out badly at the end of Pandora Tomorrow with how difficult it gets. But you know, isn't this kind of a byproduct of the genre? If it wasn't difficult, they didn't give you all these limitations, wouldn't it just be really easy and not actually tense? No. Okay, when I started playing, I thought it was required by nature, but like, the memories of the past are coming back now. See, after the original game, Ubisoft Montreal went to work on the third in the series, and they seriously delivered with, like, no joke, one of my favorite games of all time. Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory. Okay, what is this? Tyrone, you son of a bitch. Listen, listen, listen. Oh, that music. Oh, that music. Chaos Theory is far and away the pinnacle of the series on so many fundamental levels. First off, they give you these expansive areas to study, and you're given freedom with how you want to approach certain situations and what objectives to tackle, including shiny new secondary missions. The game really rewards players that are in tune with the environment. They strip away a lot of the overt restrictions, as a burst of gunfire is enough to keep you in the shadows. The limited resources and overall fun factor also give added weight to your anonymity. That not getting a perfect score, kind of a pain in the ass. And you have things like the EMP gun that help illustrate the nuanced ways Ubisoft balanced the title. It's less negative reinforcement and more positivity, and giving you more creativity with how you approach situations. It's all about good game design and being in command of the Splinter Cell sandbox. And yeah, you could accuse me of liking Chaos Theory simply because it's more forgiving, but consider one other new gameplay element: the sophisticated sound system. They tried to incorporate sound before, but not to the extent of the signature lighting system. Knowing the room sounds and the threshold of what guards can hear adds this whole new layer of complexity to the levels. Instead of factoring in many facets of the weather like Pandora badly attempted, Chaos Theory focuses on the sound of everything, including things such as wind and thunder. And because of this, everything feels more acutely implemented, and you get this really fleshed out element that can be applied to a whole slew of obstacles and environments. Not this impossibly convoluted level design that heavily reminds me of the awful platforming sections of old school third-person shooters like Max Payne. I like Max Payne, but damn it, that was terrible when you made you jump everywhere. That was stupid. And I just shot up a civilian. And nobody cares. Okay. So, in the end, game's alright. The campaign, at least, I just don't like it that much, but you know, Pandora tomorrow will always be a special game for me when I was younger. I remember waking up early on 4th of July to get a few matches of Spies vs. Mercs in before heading over to the parade. I bragged to my little cousin about how much better it was to the original, walked home and played even more while chewing on the atomic fireballs that were thrown in the street, followed by the shortly lived double bubble. I remember talking to my friends about the game at school, and I always felt a bit of shame when my one friend, Dom, beat the game when I let him borrow it. And he was always confused why I never finished it. Well, finish it now, brother. Rest in peace. But you're not dead. Damn it, that's really hard to memorize. Son of a bitch!
They should tell us what they know. It's our lives.